What if you could take the very best parts of an MMO, the teamwork-driven dungeon run, and make that the entire game? No endless grinding, no tedious quests, just pure, action-packed co-op from the moment you log in. That's the promise of Fellowship, and in this video, we're going to give you a complete tour. We spent the week playing this new offering from Chief Rebel, and we're going to cover everything from how easy it is to start to the deep, satisfying progression that keeps you hooked. To quote one of our players, a 20-year MMO veteran, it's like they took the best parts of WoW and Final Fantasy and blended them into something smooth and accessible. So whether you're a Mythic Plus pusher looking for a new challenge, or someone who just loves a great co-op game, stick around. This is everything you need to know about Fellowship. Let's start with the biggest hurdle for any online game. Just getting into the action. And this is where Fellowship absolutely shines. The philosophy is play, not wait. There's no massive grind to get the good stuff. You just log in and play. You pick your hero, queue up, and you're in a dungeon within a minute. The matchmaking system is brilliantly simple. You just hit play game in the top left, and it finds 3 other players for you. Super quick, super simple. And we love this little touch. Once you finish a dungeon, your group actually stays together for a few minutes, so you can easily chain another run if everyone's vibing. It's a small thing, but it really helps build that sense of community. If you're somebody who wants to only play with people at the same skill level as you, you can also check this box to increase the chances that you'll be matched up with somebody at the same point in the game. The core loop is immediate and satisfying. Team up, clear a dungeon, get loot, get stronger. It's a classic for a reason, and Fellowship executes it with precision. If you're not the type to jump right into the action, there's a small tutorial where they give you a tour of the main player hub, the stronghold, and some target dummies where you can read your starting abilities and practice a little to get used to the gameplay. If you're already familiar with other MMO classes and dungeon offerings though, you'll be able to seamlessly jump right into the action. I think it's this ease of access that makes Fellowship so appealing to current MMO players and has been a huge part of their success in these early days. When you log in, you don't feel like you're playing something unfamiliar or strange. It's like putting on a comfortable pair of slippers, and everything from the UI layout to the class designs feels like home. So what is the moment-to-moment gameplay actually like? Well, if you've ever played an MMO, you'll feel right at home. Fellowship is built on the holy trinity of roles: tank, healer, and DPS. The tank leads the charge and controls the enemies, the healer keeps everyone alive, and the damage dealers, well, they deal the damage. It's a formula that creates fantastic teamwork, and we noted that it felt surprisingly natural right away. The controls are responsive, the abilities feel impactful, and the goal is always clear. Clear the dungeon, get the loot. Now, a huge part of the fun comes from the heroes themselves, and Fellowship offers some fantastic and unique takes on classic archetypes. First up, let's talk about the archer Elarion. Pico went in blind with Elarion and found the experience to be very straightforward and great for learning the game. Each of the heroes are ranked in difficulty on a scale of 1 to 5, with Elarion sitting at a 2. So what's the playstyle? Elarion is a mobile hunter-style hero who can use all of his core abilities while on the move. He builds up a resource called Celestial Impetus with his basic shots, and then spends it on powerful abilities like a piercing barrage or a devastating area of effect attack called Starfall Volley. The class fantasy is on point. Big pools feel great. You drop your Starfall Volley, then spam those multi-shots and barrage. It's visually satisfying and feels powerful without being overwhelming. If you're looking for a reliable mobile damage dealer to start with, Elarion is a perfect choice. If a mobile archer isn't your style, perhaps you'd prefer to command the raw power of ice and frost. Let's talk about Rime. Where Elarion is about mobility, Rime is about control and clever ability synergy. Kubi, our Rime enjoyer, isn't normally a mage player, but he was completely drawn in by her kit. Her gameplay has a very clear and satisfying rhythm. You apply a hard-hitting damage over time effect called Glacial Brand to an enemy, then you use your channeled ability Winter's Wrath. Here's the magic. If you channel Winter's Wrath on an enemy with your brand, it splashes damage to all nearby enemies. It's a simple 1-2 punch that feels incredibly powerful. She also generates winter orbs with her other abilities, which she spends on big, single target or area of effect nukes. And her ultimate ability, her spirit ability, supercharges her for a short time, making her resource spender instant cast. Kubi summed it up by saying her abilities are all very straightforward to use and have clearly defined synergy with each other. A good start in character design. Rime is a fantastic pick for anyone who loves strategic, combo-oriented gameplay. Now, you don't start with every tool in your kit. A big part of the progression in Fellowship is unlocking new talents and abilities as you play, and the system is both familiar and deeply rewarding. It was reminiscent of the pre-Dragonflight WoW talents, with a tree that has 3 choices on each row that you unlock as you complete more dungeons and earn talent points. The beauty of this system is twofold. First, it introduces complexity gradually, so you're not overwhelmed at the start. Second, and this is a huge plus, respecking is free and easy. You can experiment with different builds for different dungeons, or just to see what feels best without any penalty. Your left tree is unlocked simply by doing dungeons. Every dungeon you do, up to 16, will unlock a new ability or a new talent rows or points. You can fully unlock this in quick play matches while you learn the character and their nuance if you want. The right side of the tree is unlocked by completing specific goals in the challenge mode. This lets you move up the ranks to unlock more difficult content so that you never feel like you're in a no-win situation. Challenge mode dungeons as well will unlock the left side of the tree, so you can unlock both as you make your way up through the ranks. Swapping heroes is also super easy. The currency you've earned from one is carried over across all the heroes, and unlocking the new talent tree is as easy as just playing the game. Chief Rebel did a masterful job of removing one of the biggest barriers to entry of playing alts with this design. Fellowship is just all dungeons all the time. Of course, all those dungeons need someone to lead the charge. That brings us to the anchor of any good team, the tank. And a great place to start is with the classic sword and board hero, Helena. Helena embodies the traditional tank fantasy. Her core gameplay loop revolves around a resource called toughness. By using her defensive abilities, she builds and maintains her toughness, which decreases how much damage she takes. Using your offensive talents adds a cooldown reduction minigame that I found to be very rewarding. It's an active, engaging way to tank that rewards good play. She has abilities like Shields Up for constant mitigation, Iron Wall as a powerful defensive cooldown, and Grand Melee, which might be my favorite ability ever in the history of MMOs, to group enemies together neatly for her damage dealers. As a longtime tank main in Warcraft and previously EverQuest, I found the high APM CDR playstyle to be a breath of fresh air. Every ability in the rotation felt meaningful, and the better I played, the smoother our runs went. No joke, this should be the blueprint for dungeon tanking in every game. A great tank needs a great playground, and Fellowship offers different types of runs to suit your mood and ambition. To start with, Fellowship has 8 single boss dungeons that you can play. Those are Wormheart, Stormwatch, Sailor's Abyss, Empyrean Sands, Uruk Markets, Everdawn Grove, Godfall Quarry, and Silken Hollow. You can play these in either the unranked quick play mode or the ranked challenge mode. In quick play, there is no timer and the rewards come in the form of supplies and marks of Fellowship. It's a great way to learn a new hero or to unlock the left side of your rewards tree. If you want more of a challenge, you can step into ranked challenge mode, which will see you running those same dungeons at varying difficulty levels starting with Contender. For the first 3 levels of Contender, there is no timer, so you still get a chance to learn the trash mobs, the bosses, and the best pathing to take in each dungeon. Once we get to Contender level 4 and above though, the timer is introduced and now every run is a race against the clock. In fact, the dungeon timer for most runs sits at 15 minutes or less. And here's a fantastic feature we loved. Even if you deplete the timer, you still get all the rewards once you finish the dungeon. The dungeons themselves are all varied in design and enemy style, and this variety helps to create a sense of newness to each run that prevents them from feeling stale. As well, the bosses are varied with unique talents that are masterfully telegraphed by Fellowship's visuals. Even if it's your first time fighting a boss, it becomes very clear how to deal with each mechanic, making progress all about playing and not about reading from a dungeon journal. In both quick play and challenge mode, the goal will be to hit 100% of the enemy forces defeated and then take down the boss. Knowing how much value an enemy is worth is built right into the game in the form of a tooltip that you get when hovering over an enemy. Honestly, the entire UI of Fellowship feels designed to give you exactly what you need right out of the box. It's refreshing to not need dozens of external add-ons to play the game at a competitive level. Another way that Chief Rebel designed these dungeons to feel challenging but not punishing is with the campfire system. Throughout the dungeon are campfire checkpoints that the player can choose to activate, giving you a closer respawn point to the end. These aren't unlocked by default though, and you choose which ones you want to turn on, if any. It makes the run back from a nasty wipe far less punishing and really helps to make the short timers feel fair. But the single boss dungeons aren't all the Fellowship has to offer. Each league is topped with a capstone dungeon: Sithral's Fall, the Heart of Tuzari, Wraithtide Vault, and Ransack of Drakheim. Once you have completed all of the dungeons in your league and hit the suggested eye level, you'll have the chance to run the capstone dungeon to unlock the next league. These 3 boss dungeons are longer and more epic, clocking in around the 30-minute mark. They're no joke in difficulty, and taking multiple attempts to get it right is commonplace. But, as we mentioned, even in failing, you will gain strength in the form of loot and dungeon knowledge. The capstone dungeons are designed as major skill checks in the game. They're longer, more complex, and feature some of the toughest boss encounters Fellowship has to offer. As you succeed, you progress through different leagues from Contender to Adept and beyond. And this isn't just a stacking enemy health and damage climb, the game changes. Both bosses and trash mobs gain new abilities at certain points. A champion difficulty run will end up feeling quite different than an Adept one. This will help to keep the content fresh and challenging hundreds of hours in. It also lets you learn the dungeons in the same way you learned your hero, by building on the strong foundation of the early difficulties. Completing your first capstone is a rite of passage. It's the gateway to the higher leagues and the more difficult dungeon modifiers. This is where your individual skill and your team's coordination are pushed to the absolute limit. In order to enter dungeons, from a solo player point of view, you would hit play and then either choose your quick play mode or challenge mode. If you select challenge mode, you'll be taken to a second screen where you're paired up with 3 other players and then asked to select which of 3 dungeon options you want to run. Whichever dungeon gains the most votes from the players involved will be the dungeon that you run for that attempt. However, if you want a targeted approach, queuing in a group of 4 allows you to select the specific dungeon you want to run, and this eliminates a large pain point of not being able to select exactly what dungeon at what difficulty level you want to run. So it's highly recommended that you find a group of 4 that you can run these dungeons together with in order to select where you want to go if you're trying to hit a specific goal. Conquering those dungeons feels great, but it's even better when you're rewarded with powerful new gear. And the gearing system in Fellowship has a surprising amount of depth that becomes more relevant the higher you climb. At its core, you get loot from dungeons. The tougher the dungeon, the better the rewards. But that's just a start. We were impressed by the layers of customization. First, there's the gem system. At higher ranks, your gear will have gem sockets. You can socket different gems that provide level scaling passive boosts to your stats, allowing you to fine-tune your build. Then there's a robust upgrading system. You can spend gold and a resource called Mithril to upgrade your gear's quality, making it more powerful. And perhaps the coolest part, certain weapons have on-use abilities, which you would normally only find on legendary items in other games. This isn't a system you have to engage with immediately, but it opens up a world of min-maxing and build optimization for those who want to push the highest challenges while the team fights to stay alive. And speaking of keeping the team alive through all this, let's not forget the healer. Our healer, Sylvie, spent significant time with Sylvie, a nature-themed healer who specializes in healing over time effects. He described her as having an incredibly high HPS potential. Her gameplay is about anticipation and setup. You place your healing over time effects on the party before big damage events happen. At lower difficulties, she felt a bit simple, but that changed dramatically in Adept and Champion dungeons. The damage ramps up quite quickly and can easily drain all your mana, making quick reactions and good mana management essential. Her damage output is fairly basic and could benefit from more complexity, but this allows you to focus almost entirely on the intricate dance of keeping your team alive in the midst of chaos. A well-played Sylvie is the backbone of any pushing group. To beat those top-tier challenges, you'll need more than just good gear. You need great coordination, and that's where one of Fellowship's smartest UI features comes into play. This pro tip will instantly make your groups better. setting an interrupt focus. You can target a dangerous enemy, like a caster that needs to be stopped, and press the default key V. This will place your hero's icon next to the enemy's nameplate, and crucially, it shows your allies your personal interrupt cooldown status. This lets your team know who is responsible for stopping which cast, making coordination seamless. Another fantastic UI feature is the threat indicator. Enemy health bars change color based on who they're attacking. Blue means they're on the tank, yellow means the tank is losing threat, and red means they're attacking someone else. This gives everyone immediate, intuitive feedback about the state of the battle. These small but brilliant features show how Fellowship is designed by people who understand cooperative dungeon crawling at a deep level. And your UI is totally customizable. Using the edit mode, you can place your actions, your buffs, your debuffs, anywhere you want on your screen, just by simply dragging and dropping. So, where does Fellowship stand? We found it to be a refreshing and complete feeling experience. It's a game that combines familiar systems from games we've loved for decades, but trims away the grind. It respects your time, the matchmaking is swift, the runs are satisfyingly bite-sized, and the ability to swap heroes on one character offers incredible flexibility. The focus is entirely on the fun part, the dungeon crawl. We all agreed that as a pure, focused dungeon crawler, Fellowship absolutely delivers. Fellowship reminds us why we fell in love with dungeon running in the first place. It's about the challenge, the loot, and the friends you make along the way. If you're looking for a game that captures the thrill of a perfect dungeon run without the MMO commitment, Fellowship is absolutely worth your time. But what do you think? Have you tried Fellowship? Who's your favorite hero? What's the toughest dungeon you faced? Let us know in the comments below. If this overview helped you out, please do us a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more fast-paced dungeon content. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you in the dungeons.
Thou witness to winter's wrath!
You stand before annihilation.
Can you get knocked off here?
Steel! No?
Soak those, I think. Move out of that.
What Legion boss did this?
Back up.
The bridge dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the bridge guy.
Roses. Soak.
Protect me!
Go left. Oh, get out. Go left.
Thank you, Roy
We did it. We did it.